everybody, I'm Laurie Handlers, and this is Rich Priddus, and we're doing a joint podcast today, a podcast of Sex and Happiness, which is my usual podcast, and his podcast, which is called Body Lab. Yeah?
Yes.
And so we're very excited to be here. We had a conversation and we decided we should do a podcast about this. So Rich, why don't you just tell people a couple sentences about yourself? I'll tell people a couple sentences about me, and then we'll get right into the
part. Well, I like to say I'm a messenger, and yeah, and I don't want anybody to believe anything I say outright, but I'd like you to be open to it, and if something resonates, then I'd like you to try it out. I think that's the only way that we have any transformation. I'm also a facilitator. And being a facilitator, I make it easier to figure it all out. I facilitate it. So,
okay, that's great. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And you're also an ISTA apprentice, so you're apprenticing with me, and we get to talk frequently and a lot. We're in the same state finally, in Arizona, and and these days we've been talking a lot together.
Yeah.
So.
And I am a practitioner. I'm not really a doctor. This is my lab coat because this is Body Lab.
Body Lab, yeah. And I refuse to wear one, so I'm sorry, everybody. I didn't want to be naked and wear a medical clinical.
Right.
And about
I'm a practitioner. I'm a practitioner as far as sexual healing, helping people with love and relationships, that sort of thing.
All right, awesome. And I'm a facilitator. I've been a facilitator forever. I don't know, for a very long time. I've been facilitating workshops, I think, since 1978. That was my first workshop. I did a women's workshop in 1978. And since that time, I've done lots of stuff, but I am known now for my book, Sex and Happiness, The Tantric Laws of Intimacy, and for being an ISTA lead faculty. And I'm doing other things these days, Extraordinary Lovers and Tantra meets BDSM. So those are the things I'm known for right now in the world. Who knows what's next? I have a new book. Yeah, I have a new book coming out called Sex and Happiness Over 60. It gets better. And, I think I'm a living testament to that. So.
Awesome.
All right, so let's talk. You and I.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, go ahead.
You and I had a conversation about things. You were married for a long time, and you said there was this bunch of things that you didn't know about, that nobody told you about, that were related to female genitalia, female processes, bodies, and you have found in your recent practices of helping women heal from shame that there are all kinds of things that you just they never crossed your radar.
Right. So what happened was I was speaking to a couple of women, helping them with some of their issues. They had some shame and things around their, what I would call moon time in our woo-woo talk.
I call it
menstruation.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we were working on that and doing some ceremony around it to let go of some of those shame feelings or trauma or woundings around it. And we talked about gathering the menstrual blood for the ceremony, and these Diva Cups, I think they're called.
What are they called?
Diva Cups.
Oh, Diva Cups. Okay, I thought they were called Moon Cups, but.
Moon Cups, I guess there are a few. Diva Cups is kind of like Kleenex for facial tissue, I think.
Okay.
But I was interested in knowing that even the women didn't really know much about them. It was a little bit of a mystery. They hadn't used them. They didn't know exactly what they're about. And I had these misconceptions about it. Like I thought it was a hard plastic sort of cup.
But someone told you could have sex with it.
Yes.
So you were thinking, I don't want to insert my lingam, we call in woo, but my penis into something that's going to hurt a hard plastic surface.
Right. And so it dawned on me that not only men and myself, I thought I knew all this stuff. I really don't. And then I realized that even women don't know all about these things. And then so I went looking on Amazon for these products, and I found all kinds of interesting stuff that I didn't know about.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to reveal some of this stuff today. I'm really excited about that. So let me backtrack with you and say, maybe, first of all, I never heard anyone call a woman's cycle her moon until the first time I ever did an ISTA training, which was in 2014. Someone said to me, well, I'm on my moon. And I looked at her and I was just like, fuck you, what is your moon? Like, I didn't, you know, and then it was right. So there was this like romantic image brought up of it, like, oh, I'm on my moon. And believe me, for me in my life, by that time I didn't have it anymore, but for me in my life, it was a treacherous, horrible time. It was a time I could barely breathe or walk. I was lucky I could get to school. I had such cramps and so much misery. Mm-hmm. It wasn't that I was so embarrassed, although a lover, I did a video a long time ago, it's on YouTube, about body image. And I talk about a lover that I had when I was 18 who made fun of me because my blood got all over him. Mm-hmm. Like, I was never ashamed to have sex when I had my period. That's what we called it. But,
right.
But this man said to me, you know, how do you get it off your partner? Like, it was all over him. And I, you know, that was very shaming of me, you know, and it took me a long time to get over that, but I didn't know what this was, but I do know what these cups are. So it's I don't know, we called them something else. I don't know. Yeah. It didn't work for me because I had too much blood. Like, it couldn't, I couldn't possibly use a little thimble kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what you unearthed from
right.
Amazon.
And you know, and I'm not an expert, obviously, and the reason we want to talk about this is not only interesting, but we don't talk openly enough about our sexuality. And this is just really basic stuff. This isn't talking about being open or polyamorous or all these other things that are out there. This is just basic body stuff that doesn't get talked about.
Right.
Along with all the other sexuality.
When you were married, you know, how many years were you married for?
26.
26 years, okay.
Yes.
So in your, see, I never did that. That's like one thing I never did in my life.
Yeah.
I was like, no. I would be with somebody for, you know, 3 months. Maybe I'd be with somebody for 3 years and I'd roll over and go, I could never be with this person, like, till death do us part. Like, that was, I was already bored.
Oh, mine was for all eternity, not even death do us part. It was like forever. Scary.
So how openly did you talk about it with your wife?
Well, just stepping back even further, my parents never talked about anything. And literally the day we got married, they handed us a book on sex. As if we're gonna leave the wedding and go to our honeymoon and take time to read the book before we do anything, right? Because we hadn't had sex. We were good Mormons.
Wow.
And we hadn't done any of that. And now we were supposed to like do a crash course. That's how bad it was.
Oh,
and so
goodness.
then in the marriage as well, it just wasn't talked about. She wasn't open with me about, say, showing me the feminine products and how she uses them, or I mean, I could go on and on about the things that we didn't talk about.
Yeah. So you had a crash course in the past 10, 15 years that opened you up to like all kinds of things and all kinds of new talents that you're discovering that you have.
Right. And so now I'm all about just being totally open, talking about it openly and clearly, directly. We just have to do more of that. Really.
It's amazing what human beings are so silly. You know, we are really silly creatures that we don't, this has been so taboo.
We hide. Yeah, we hide. I have to tell you something really funny about the wedding night. Is we were so inexperienced and didn't know anything. We went to this honeymoon suite and there were 2 separate bathrooms. It was a big suite. And we each went in a separate bathroom to get undressed because we were so shy and didn't know what the hell we were doing.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That's how bad. Yeah. So So I'm excited to talk about this stuff, and just I love bringing things into the light. And I haven't used a lot of these things. That's an assignment I'm giving myself, though.
Well, how are you
obviously, I'm not going to use a Diva Cup, but we're going to talk about some other things as well.
You can't use that. You can't use it. You don't have anywhere to put that.
Right. I can put it over the end of my penis, actually.
Yeah, so hold it up, like hold it up to the camera.
Yeah, so this is a cup. And they say, oh, yeah, you can have sex with it. This is pointing down. This is, I guess, a thing to pull it out with. And I'm saying, hell no.
No.
But look, it's sort of squishy. I thought it was a hard plastic.
No, it's squishy.
Yeah. So
yeah, that would have lasted me about a half an hour, and then I'd have to pull it out and get it back in again. I couldn't. I think the one I had was smaller than that. Also, when I was coming up, they recommended these sea sponges.
Mm.
Have you heard of that?
Well, that's amazing that you mentioned that. Look at this. I found this on Amazon, and it's
like
a little. Isn't that cute? And there's a little place to put your finger, so that I guess you can
pull it out.
Yeah, but that's an actual sponge. It looks like something that you do artwork with. You
do. You take paint and you put it all over canvas.
Yeah.
Or you can take blood and put it all over canvases.
So is that the kind of thing you're talking about, a sea sponge?
Yeah, but mine didn't look like that. They look like real sea sponges. They look like the kind that you see, sea sponges, like you see them in an aquarium or whatever. And that lasted, for me, that didn't last. That was no good at all. That was
and I mean, when I say I have an assignment to use these, I'm asking my lovers to try them out. But I was speaking to one today, and she's like, "No, I can't. No, that wouldn't work. I mean, this is going to be. Maybe that's for later on where it's a less flow or something. I don't know."
Yeah, you can use that when there's less flow, but you can't use anything like that when you have a heavy flow. Like as is. I mean, for me, I used to leave trails all over the. I've left trails in hotels. I've left trails on the subway in London. I've left trails of, I've had people that I was traveling with come and knock on the bathroom door, like in Italy, and go, "You left a trail on the way to the restroom."
And so I've actually listened to women in, say, like a workshop talk about these experiences and the trauma really that they have, because I mean, obviously you don't want to have an accident like that because it's just like spilling water on yourself or anything. But then it's looked at in such a shaming way, like it's bad somehow. I don't know how to express that, but
you're expressing it very well. You see the color of that lab coat you're wearing?
Yeah.
Do you know that I have not owned a pair of white slacks, like white jeans, white bell bottoms, white tights, white pants? I have not owned a pair of white pants since I was 18 because I ruined every pair of white pants that I had. And I remember being in a restaurant in France and saying to my friend that I was having dinner with, "Do you have a sweater or a jacket?" And he said, "Why?" And I said, "I need to wrap it around myself before we leave this restaurant."
I would say, I bet you every woman has had that experience with the jacket wrapping around. I mean, I've had girlfriends and my wife. But this was really good for ceremony to work through that shame, gathering it in this, and then making a little altar to honor the blood, to really change our thinking about it. And then we did some fun stuff. It's based on where you're at, but actually putting some of the blood, anointing it on our head and that sort of thing, just to get rid of the shame and make it something that's normal.
It's excellent that you're doing that. That's wonderful. Now, did you make that up? Is that just something that you thought of intuitively, or she thought of intuitively?
Well, no, that's what I did.
You thought of it, not her.
I did it. Yes, I did it and led it. And really, each time I do it, it's based on the person and where they're at emotionally and how open they are and that sort of thing. So, but it's the basic idea.
The very last time I had my period, I was 50, like it just came back all of a sudden. And my partner at the time made war paint on himself with it. And I felt so honored. I cried. I was just like, wow, you would honor me that grandly. This has never happened to me before in my life. So I understand that what you're doing when you're working with individual women and having them get over their own shame about bleeding. You know, here's the thing about it. This is for everybody listening. Like, women bleed for days on end and they don't die. Like, if you had a cut and you bled and bled and bled from the cut, you would die. Anybody would, but women have this miracle that happens to them every month when they shed an egg, and it's one of these mysteries, and it mystified men for centuries, and that, you know, they could bleed and then they don't die from this blood. They don't die from the bleeding. So it really is like a miracle, and one of the things of like that you'd make a mystery school around. And then, of course, the red tent and all the things that women used to do and things that are being brought back into the culture now. So the fact that you're doing this with people and having them get over it and deal with the fact that this is what their body does, and this is just what a body does. There shouldn't be any shame around this.
Well, and here's the real sad part about it too, when you get into the religious part, like I was in the Bible, in the Old Testament, they would actually talk about the women being unclean during that time, and they would actually send them away to be with all the other unclean women until the time passed. And that's so sad. But that's the programming, even from religion, and it's just so sad. So yeah, just painting it on you, and with a lover. There's something called a Liberator Blanket. I don't know if you've ever used one of those, but it's a blanket that's really soft on one side, and the other side is something that's waterproof. And so you can lay that down, and it doesn't matter how heavy your period is, you can be on the Liberator Blanket and just make love, and the blood can be all over both of you, and it doesn't, you just throw it in the wash.
You throw it in the wash, that's wonderful.
And that's another way to get over the shame, to think that your partner is okay with that. You know.
They didn't have those in time for me.
Yeah, they
didn't have those in time for me. So I stopped having white sheets on my bed a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, so here's this one. It's called, I don't know if this reads straight in the camera, but it's called
Duchess Cup.
Duchess Cup. And then I got this one too, just because I've always heard the Diva Cup thing. It's another.
Okay, and it's the
another
same.
One.
It looks exactly the same.
Yeah, it's just it's inside there. It's white.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see in the camera, but so I got those. So mystery. Oh, one more thing is that the way this works, that I also was a little unclear on for a lot of years, is that this goes up over the cervix. That's another episode that we're going to have, talking about what all that looks like and how those things work. Like, where is the cervix? This just fits up over the cervix, which is up at the top of the.
So a woman has to insert it into her vagina and then push it up all the way so that it cups around the cervix.
Right.
Yeah. So we're not doing the biology lesson today.
Not today, but that's upcoming, and it'll be a private pay-per-view or something like that, I suppose. Oh, and here's something else. I remember my wife, and I think my mother, actually talking about this is called Kaya. I have a friend, her daughter's name is Kaya. I don't know what Kaya means.
I have a friend whose daughter's name is Kaya, but with a K.
Yeah, and this was called a, what's it called? A diaphragm. Remember diaphragms?
Oh yeah, I had that.
Yeah, and I don't know that they looked quite like this, but it's like a nice shape, and it's got this little part here that you can put your finger in. And so it goes up like this over the cervix, and then this goes behind the pubic bone, and then apparently you just put your finger up in there and pull that down.
You pull it out.
But this is
birth control.
This is birth control. Yeah, I'd never seen one.
Really? You never had anybody hit you in the head with it? It like jumped out on you?
No.
I've had that. I've actually had that where I was putting it in, and my lover was like waiting for me to, you know, be ready, and I couldn't get it in, and it went
funny.
right out of me, and it hit him right in the face.
Well, that is funny, and here's the really funny thing. I think my wife actually used some sort of diaphragm, and I don't remember ever seeing it because it was the unmentionable, right? It's like, oh, this is something we don't talk about.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing about it. When I first got one, we were instructed to put it in right before having sex. First, you put all this cream on it or gel on it, which has spermicide, and then you put it in and you do it right before sex. But the book Our Bodies Ourselves came out, and that this was in the 70s, the late 70s, and so my friends and I were putting it in the morning. Like they said, you could put it in the morning, the spermicide wouldn't wear off. And so if you thought you were going to have sex that night, rather than waiting until right before sex and running into the bathroom to put it in, you just put it in the morning, like you brush your teeth, put it in the diaphragm. So that's probably why you didn't see it.
That's a great plan.
Yeah.
Because here's something that's a perfect lead into this. Yes. Yeah. If you're done talking about that part. Okay. So I've heard about female condoms.
Yes.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
And there must be the better version because it's female condom too. So there must have been a prior version.
There was one. It was also, it's a really interesting contraption. The woman wears it. And so the woman, it goes inside the woman and it's big, but it stays in. And then the man can slide in there. It anchors inside. And the man can slide in there and he isn't wearing a condom. So it doesn't, like for men, a lot of men say that condoms are terrible.
I do. I say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I were as big as this one. This is really huge.
This is so you can slide in and out without without being inhibited or hindered by the choking off sensation that condoms have.
Yeah. And look, it's all oiled up. I don't know if you can see the grease on my hands, but it's really greased up.
I see.
So see this little thing on top? It's like a ring that you can squeeze, and apparently they put it up inside.
It goes in and then it anchors inside.
Anchors in, yeah.
Yes.
But the reason I said that was a perfect segue into this is because this seems like it's pretty clunky. If you're like in the moment, it's clunky enough for a man to put a condom on, I think. To have that little break, but for a woman to put this inside in the moment seems like it just would ruin the moment, and then to do that before even engaging seems like it would just sort of take the magic out of it. I don't know. It just seems so big, and I
don't prescribe to that take the magic out of it stuff.
Yeah,
No, I think the same way as we do the bubble and we do desires, fears, and boundaries, and people say, I don't want to talk about my desires, fears, and boundaries. It takes the spontaneity out. No, actually, when you have a safer sex conversation with somebody and then you say your desires, fears, and boundaries, and if you, like, I think that seduction is a team sport. So if my partner and I put that in together,
well said. Yes.
But you have to be unabashedly unashamed to even request someone to say, "Hey, honey, could you help me do this?" And that feels a little clunky sometimes to people who aren't, if it's their first time being together. But see, I feel like you have to start these things right away.
Yeah.
I'm a proponent of making dates, and people say to me, dates, sex dates, that takes the spontaneity. No. Uh-oh, what was that?
Oh, sorry.
I know what that is. That's your.
It's my camera turning off. Okay.
I know. Okay, so anyway, I think that people, spontaneity is overrated. I just think that if I have a feeling about you, you have a feeling about me, we have a chemistry. I'm going to say it all. I'm not, but I'm sure when I was younger, I wasn't going to. You know, like when I was in my 20s or whatever, we didn't have those conversations. But I mean, I learned how to put on a condom onto a man because I was a team player.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, how many women do that? And I'm glad you're saying all that too, because I mean, I would give an assignment for a woman just to allow her partner to watch her insert this, because how many women are afraid to let their partner, anyone, see them putting their fingers up in their vagina, or
well, I mean,
doing this sort of thing. I think it's great.
Give couples an assignment that they should self-pleasure in front of each other.
Yeah.
Because how are you going to know what your partner likes unless you watch your partner do themselves?
Exactly.
But I mean, that's, you know, and people look at me, I mean, I've done this with couples who have been married for, you know, 20 to 40 years. And they've been like, what? And I say, wait a minute, you've never watched your partner make love to themselves? No. And I go, well, your assignment is to do this because how do you know what to even do that they like
exactly.
if you don't watch what they do?
Exactly.
So yeah, I would wholeheartedly agree with you that somebody should watch and even help their partner put something like that in the female condom in.
And the more you cross those edges, the more free flowing and natural the lovemaking is. Whenever there's any kind of feeling of this has to be private, or there's any kind of shame, or it just interrupts the whole lovemaking, I think. But one last thing about this, is why I'm still holding it, is there's this outer part that goes outside I assume that anchors outside the lips, yeah. So anyway, interesting, huh?
You have found all kinds of interesting things. Now you should try to get those companies to sponsor your podcast.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
That's a great idea. But look what else I found. So this.
I love this. You're like a kid in a candy store.
It's so fun. And yes, it's so fun. And that you're talking about having sex with a cup. There's actually this version of a cup. This is called a disc. And so it has the flexible thing that you compress and then it pops open over the cervix. But I don't know if you can see this in the camera, but it's sort of more like a condom sort of.
Yeah, it looks like a condom.
And there's a little bit of reservoir space there, and that goes up inside, and I can totally have sex with that. But then it seems like if you're bumping up against it, then it's gonna like maybe be spilling things out. I don't know. But that's an assignment I have. I've got to try it.
Yeah, so you have to try this. You have to.
This is my assignment, everybody. I'm going to enjoy my assignments.
That's great. It's wonderful.
And then I just, for variety, I found this one called Soft Disc.
That's the same one, or is that a different one?
No, this one's called Flex.
No, Flex. One.
Okay. Yeah. These, to me, as a man, looked more like beefy and like they would do the job. And then you've got these here that, I haven't even opened it. They look nice too, but being pink and all, they just don't seem as beefy, but I'm sure the women would love it.
Yeah.
Pink. So yeah, same thing, just a different brand.
So this is great. This is you can give these as holiday gifts.
I can, look at all
gifts.
Of them.
Wow, you can give these are stocking stuffers.
These are party favors.
Listen, I know people who used to wear on their earrings, they used to wear condoms. When we first had to start being conscious of, in the AIDS crisis of the 80s, we first had to start being really conscious of everybody, like really making sure they had condoms. I have friends who used to wear condom earrings. They used to wear the little packages on their earrings. And then I've seen a tote bag that was made with clear plastic squares in the front, and different color condoms were inserted in all the little squares. you know, whatever it takes to bring the awareness to people that these things exist, and that there shouldn't be any shame about this. These are great. These were invented for us to be healthy, and invented for us to feel confident about ourselves. All of it.
Yeah. Yeah, and as long as you're talking about condoms, I feel like that's the most known. Here's skin.
Yeah, skin is a good one.
But I thought we should bring it up. You know who I feel like? I feel like Johnny Carson or someone like that on the Tonight Show.
You're reminding me of Howard Stern, actually.
Howard Stern, okay. And they always have these things that they've discovered, and they keep pulling them out and talking about them and laughing. We're not laughing about this. We just like...
No, we're taking it seriously.
I'm taking it seriously, but I love keeping it light because it's not a bad thing. We can really enjoy it. No,
it's not a bad thing. And these things are really... I'm going to say something as a woman's perspective about all those the first things that you brought up. They are a lot better for you health-wise than putting big wads of cotton that's processed with bleach and chemicals, etc., inside to the vagina. So so these things have to be better for you if you possibly can use them, and your flow isn't so great that it would cause irritation, or that it will cause embarrassment, like the blood will go everywhere. These would be much better things to use. Now show us the condom that you were
that's one of the things that I did remember my wife talking about was using tampons as a girl, and that it was a little controversial because some people would get some kind of toxicity if they left them in, or they were allergic to them and that sort of thing. So that stuck in my head for some reason. Yeah,
it was really bad for people. All right, go ahead.
So the thing I thought I should mention about these is that these are non-latex. I don't know if you can see it, but where a lot of them are latex, and I've had partners that just are like, no, I can't do latex. You have to do the skin kind, because it doesn't, I'm not allergic to it. It doesn't irritate my skin.
So they're called, this is called, I forgot what it's called. Read the box. What is it?
Where did I put the box?
I don't know.
Oh, here.
You're supposed to have Ed McMahon is supposed to hand you the box.
I know. Let's see. Non-latex.
It doesn't say what it is. Though.
Synthetic polysoprene. I don't even know what that is, but apparently it's non-latex.
Usually when we wear the gloves, we use nitrile gloves, and they're non-latex either, because a lot of people have latex allergies. Lots and lots and lots of people have latex allergies.
Now so this is good to know. And this is a standard size, and it rolls out, and there's something that I will mention that, it only rolls one way. And so I had this one partner, this lover, who really would get after me because I'd put it on upside down and I'd try to roll it down and it wasn't going, and then I'd just flip it over. And she'd say, no way, because I'd contaminated it now.
Right.
And so you have to somehow figure out ahead of time, put it right side up or something so you're ready.
That's right.
Yeah, she was a real stickler for that.
Yeah, well, good for her.
And then I just have to say this, just for my ego, that this is the standard size. And I found that there's the elite large size. Can you see that? Yeah. So that's what I get.
Oh, you're saying that for your ego, so people know that you wear a large.
See? I had to throw that in because I'm like Howard Stern.
On this show long ago, I had somebody who was a consultant, a condom consultant, and she used to find different kinds of condoms for different men's sizes. She would find condoms from Asia for men who were skinnier but long. Oh, she found condoms for people who were fatter and short. And there are many more brands of condoms than most of us know about, and then are available at our regular stores. You can order them, and she would help people figure out their size.
That's awesome. Yeah. Because there's nothing wrong with a super duper tight condom, and then it just causes problems for me. But see, if you get it on the wrong way, I can push down and it doesn't go.
Right.
So
And
then I would
you
flip it
then you've
over, and then it
contaminated
goes, and then she'd say, forget it, get a new one. So.
Got it. Good for her. I respect her.
I'm gonna, just for the heck of it, maybe there are men watching who don't know about what these other things are that we've been talking about that are more common. See, I can't even open the thing. I'm trying to use scissors. Okay, this is a tampon, and there's this applicator. I'm not even sure. I guess that helps you insert it.
Well, they didn't used to have that. It used to be cardboard. Now it's plastic.
Plastic, and then
Plastic
you push.
can slide in easier. Yeah.
Yeah, you push up, and then that
goes in, and then the applicator comes out.
Yeah, and then there's this string hanging out the bottom.
Right.
We were having a massage
At a pool party.
A pool party the other day, and there was a woman who wrote about that the string was hanging out, and she was a little embarrassed, but she just decided, I'm not going to worry about it, and she just let it be, and that was awesome.
That's good. That was really good. Yeah. So
I just realized this looks like a sperm. It
does. That's probably how they designed it. They said, let's see, what can we make it look like a sperm?
So anyway, so that's just so you know, and yeah, it just seems like.
You also said you were going to show on this show, we talked about this, you said you were going to show a speculum.
Okay, I'll do it. I've got it.
Because most men have never seen a speculum before, and many women have never seen one either, because they lay down on the table and the doctor examines them with a metal speculum, and they've never seen it. So
this is the metal one.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to show it because I figured in another episode we'd do this, but this inserts into the vagina, and it looks like a beat like on a platypus. Yeah. And then apparently, you can screw this in so that it stays open, and then the doctor looks through this side into your
cervix. They look inside to explore the tissue, make sure that it's all pink, make sure there's no discolorations, and they also take a specimen of they take a swab, and then they do a test that's called a pap smear.
Yeah. I like to use the word pussy, I'm sorry, but some people want to say vagina, some want to say yoni, but anyway. So this is a plastic one, which seems a little more comfortable, and it opens up as well.
And they're disposable. Plastic ones are disposable. The metal ones have to be sterilized.
Yeah.
There are some people who have this as a fetish.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, I don't know that.
Yeah, now
I'm a little behind. I'm
giving you ideas.
Thank you. That's awesome. But, so here's what we're going to do, and I learned this in a workshop I went to. And I joke around a lot, but I think this is so important for men. I've heard about the cervix. The cervix is the little tiny opening at the top of the vaginal canal that opens up into the uterus. Am I right? Mm-hmm. And that's where the sperm
tries to get in there.
Tries to get in that little tiny. It's like a little tiny target in a gigantic space. It's not a gigantic space, but.
Well, compared to the size of a sperm.
Yeah, right. And then it gets up in there, and the eggs are up in the uterus. And so that's what all of these things that we're talking about, like the Diva Cup, is that it goes up over that little cervix thing, which is, I don't know, just a little around. But it's important to know about.
Your nose. It's like the tip of your nose.
Yeah, and it's important to know about because obviously this has to go over it. But at least me, when I'm having sex, if the woman isn't warmed up enough, or even if she is, sometimes I can bang into that, and it's uncomfortable. And it's just good to know that it's there, what it is, and I had no idea. I sort of did. But
that's why there are some sex postures that are more comfortable than others. Actually,
yeah,
that thing that I have, the Love Rider, I don't know if you got one of those from me, but that,
you did. You gave me one.
yeah, so that Love Rider allows you to have sex from behind, and it gives you an angle so that you don't bang into the cervix, because it is
Yeah.
painful when somebody hits it.
It's like a
It's shocking.
harness on a horse is that thing,
Yeah.
that rider thing. But then again, though, if you've been having sex for a while and everything's warmed up, it can be a very nice spot. You can have an orgasm, like a cervical orgasm.
Yes.
So, but I wanted to say that in the workshop I went to, what we did is the women put these in, and then we got to take a flashlight and look inside, and it was the most amazing thing after all these years of being married and everything, and I had never seen the cervix, and I could look up there, and there it was. And so that's what I want to do in an episode.
It's great. It's great. You're doing like cervical explorations and different things.
Yeah.
It's great for you.
Because it's so important to know.
We should be taught. We should be taught this in
Yes.
7th grade.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
This whole education in 7th grade, people should know about their bodies. They should know about how their bodies work, and they should know about things to use, things to explore, whatever. Instead, they tell us 2 things. This is how you don't get pregnant, and this is how you prevent STIs, sexually transmitted infections. And that's all they tell us. They don't tell us anything good.
Right. And I got even less than that. So, yeah, this is so important to know these things. I just have a few more, well, a couple more items.
Okay.
And this is the pad that women wear, and this is a thin one. But I've heard so many times women say that it feels like they're wearing a diaper, and they hate them, you know. I'm sorry for them. But this, see, I can't even get it out of the box again. But this...
It would have been great if they had this on Johnny Carson.
Yeah. So this comes off, and it's like sticky, right?
It
sticks to your underwear.
Yeah.
And then there are little, oh, this is really hard to use. Jeez. Little wings, and so that goes in, but there are really, really thick ones I've seen, and that's when they probably feel like a diaper.
Yeah.
And so that's that. But
that protects your white jeans from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the big one that I'm excited about. Well, I'm excited about all of them, but yeah, I'm like a kid in a candy store. So we're speaking openly here. So my favorite thing to do is oral sex, like giving oral sex to a woman. And I keep hearing about a dental dam, and I've never seen one. I've kind of heard what they were about, but anyway, I would say that there are a lot of people who have no idea what a dental dam is. So this is the package that this one comes in. I don't know, can you see that okay?
Yeah, what is the brand?
It says Trust Dam.
Trust Dam,
It's got a R registered mark in the middle there.
Okay.
And it says it's grape flavored, but what it is, it's this piece of plastic. It's like the consistency of a condom. And it's really thin. And apparently you would lay this over the pussy, vagina, yoni, and it would cover everything up. And then you do what you do from the other side of this, which, I'm sorry, it doesn't sound as fun for me. But if you're with somebody that you're really not sure
if you don't
really
know
not sure.
Yeah.
Maybe you've had the sex talk, but you just want to be sure, you don't really know them that well.
Or maybe you don't have, maybe they have something, maybe they have herpes and you don't have herpes, and you want to have oral sex with them, but you don't want to get it from them, or you have herpes and they don't. So you use a dental dam, and you've never had the dentist use a dental dam with you?
Well, that's the funny thing. I never have. And so one of the dental dams I ordered was actually a medical one, and I didn't realize it. And so this is called Smart Dam.
Well, because my father was a dentist, I can talk about this.
Oh, nice.
They take like a hole puncher like the same kind of hole punchers. It's not the same hole punchers for hole punching paper, but yes, they take a puncher like that and they punch out the teeth that they need to, and then they put it around your teeth. It's when they're doing something in your mouth that where there's metals and they don't want you to swallow anything. So that's to protect your throat.
Oh.
It's to protect you from something falling down your throat.
Oh.
So they put the holes around your teeth, and then you open your mouth and they don't have to use they put the suction on underneath it.
Oh.
And then they can work on your tooth and they can work with maybe metals coming out of your tooth, but it's not going to go down your throat.
Yeah, because this says mandibular and what does it say? Maxillary.
That's right.
And then this is the plastic. This is heavier plastic than the one for sex. It's a lot. You really can't see the difference, but this one.
Well, I've had oral. I want to say that I've received oral sex with someone using a dental dam, and it felt great.
Cool.
So you wouldn't know that unless you talked to me about it, because most people that you know wouldn't talk about it. And
right.
Never used it. So it feels great. It shouldn't be a deterrent. And actually people should use that to prevent the spread of things that they don't want to get. Like, I can't stand that somebody would give someone else the gift that keeps on giving, you know, like.
Right, yeah.
So I think it's really smart to use that. Now they say you can use saran wrap.
That really feels clunky because it would stick together and.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought. And I'm thinking, how can I use that? So I wish I'd known about dental dams. Now I do. So this is my assignment also.
You have all these great assignments.
That. Yeah. I'm going to try a female condom. I'm going to try a dental dam. And, well, I've already done the Diva Cup thing with these ceremonies.
And you should also have somebody put a condom on you.
Yes. I really like that you said that. And
yeah, why not?
You know what that does? That not only is like involvement, but it really shows respect and caring for the man, which I don't think we get very much.
Well, you can say that you know Michael, and you can say that Michael and Laurie say that seduction is a team sport, and
I love that.
Your job, your assignment, should you choose to accept, is to put a condom on me, and you know, and say I in return will put a condom in you, you know, like, and you can have partners sharing about that. I think it's really important, and it's really to take away the weirdness. Let's take the weirdness out of all of it and just make it a natural thing.
Right. I love that. And it can be done in a very sexy way.
That's great.
Putting the condom on, the woman putting the condom on. So like I said, I've been very...
Wait a minute. Weren't you talking to me a few weeks ago about having somebody take off their mask in a really sexy way? Yes.
Oh, yeah. I thought in the COVID thing, that's the new thing. It's such a mystery. What's behind the mask? Yeah. So it's kind of like a strip show, right? Taking the mask off.
Yeah. It's great.
But I've been really playful and joking about all of this, but I am serious about the fact that I think it's so important that we do demystify it. But not only that, the reason I'm being playful with it is because it's just natural. It's just ordinary. It's just stuff. And there's no need to have all of the shame and the embarrassment. I guess embarrassment is the word I wanted to use. There's so much embarrassment around
all of it
for some reason.
All of it. Everything that you mentioned. So you have a couple of your kids living with you. You have
my two boys.
You have two sons living with you. They're adult boys. And are you sharing all of this with them? I want to know.
I do in little bits and pieces, yes. I talk to them, yeah. Good. And I have shown them some of these things.
Good. Really important that you pass it down and they pass it down and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
It's really, really good.
They're still getting used to their dad. Because I raised them another way. And now here they're like, what happened to you?
You changed. You have to. You have to change, and you changed for the better, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Great. All right. Well, this is it. I would say this is a wrap. It's we've done a really great service to to humanity, showing them a whole bunch of products that they either heard about but didn't, didn't have the fortitude to like find out about. You showed everything on this show, and I'm happy about it. I think it's a kick to do it. It's really fun.
Yeah, it is. Yep. Demystified.
Demystify
Did it.
the products that a lot of men may have never heard about and some women never heard about.
Yep.
And give people options and knowledge. Knowledge arms people with more choices.
Yeah, and I just want to say also, you mentioned the safer sex talk and desires, fears, and boundaries, all of that. That's something we'll do in another podcast. But this goes right along with all of that. You're laying everything out on the table. There's no secrets. There's no, holding anything back about what you're doing with other people. And then we have all of these things that we can use for safer sex and safer experiences. Obviously, some of these things weren't for sex, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you. So I'm happy to
Thank
be
you.
on your podcast, and I'm happy that you're on my podcast, and we'll have to do it again. I think there's a whole bunch of other things that we can do together.
Totally. I love it.
All right, great. So
Okay.
this is Laurie Handlers signing off for Sex and Happiness, and
Rich
Rich
Priddus.
signing off for
Body Lab, Rich's Body Lab.
Rich's Body Lab. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining us, and tune in to us next time when we'll have another amazing guest talking about sex and happiness and Body Lab. Okay.
Can't wait.
You.
Okay, bye.
Bye.